both seasonal and cyclical. What does this mean? I can feel this one. Sit down. Seasonal. Well, the Christmas shopping season is certainly...
It's 2:52 p.m. on Saturday, May 29, 2021. Now, this third-party facilitating venue has been engaged in concerted conduct with the state that's amplifying noise inside of the room. So these are group stalkers. They are loitering in relevant position, providing what is the outward form for the state's targeting audible activity inside of my room. The ongoing drilling into the walls, and the third-party venue manager, the same one engaged in ongoing P.O.C, is stating that he needs to come in, understand what is the legal analysis behind that conduct. The state is monitoring. The state is monitoring through the people of the state. So this is invasion of where I am. They're already monitoring, engaging corporate invasion of privacy and ongoing perpetual sex offense. The state is present with its fake sun. The state is invading this space with its directed light. The state, and they have been engaging in remaining around this room, and the state amplifying noise inside of this room. Now they're stating they want to come inside in order to clean the cooler, the swamp cooler on the wall. They can come in and claim whatever they want to. They're monitoring, and this is a threat while the people of the state are monitoring. And by the way, monitoring what I'm publishing on the internet, on my website, pursuant to the criminal pattern of conduct when I was kidnapped by the people of the state of California and the Ontario Police Department on September 25th, 2020. It's currently 2:53 p.m. and so this is P.O.C. Everything that you're hearing, they've been engaged in this, and they're engaging in form for invading this space while they were monitoring before they knocked on my door. And this is form for loitering by the people. This is the threat. This is on ongoing, pursuant to the ongoing monitoring on the venue of the internet and in relevant position. That's P.O.C. That's P.O.C. That's audible activity while the state's invading with light. Light on the ceiling, moving around, light on the east and west walls. State's fake sun above the structure, right above my room, as I've already documented. This is inevitably the pattern of conduct. That's the people of the state. And this is Economy N 2301 South Euclid Avenue, just adding on to that ongoing documentation about the people and about this venue in particular and what's going to happen to these particular actors. It's 2:54 p.m. That's amplified traffic. Moving light activity on the wall. They're loitering in relevant position on the opposite side of this window. The state is amplifying all manner of audible activity, and they are providing form for the state's amplification of what is drilling and working through the wall. It's the same the same entity monitoring through the people of the state. It is 2:56 p.m. That's impossible light, that's audible activity, and that's the relevant positioning of the people of the state. Acting in concert with the state that is also present directly by a police, fire, and ambulance, by planes and helicopters. Again, it is 2:57 p.m. And that is the impossible light activity you see moving around. What you're witnessing is not only the product of the state that's aiming light and then creating light activity, the people of the state maintaining relevant position, intentionally creating audible activity under that directed light. It is also that which is demonic activity. That's what I'm speaking of when I say shadows moving on the wall. It's literally figures moving in the state's light. Just like I've shown on the ceiling. It's demonic activity and it's also criminal monitoring. This is absolutely impossible activity. There is no form whereby the people maintain presence, create activity in the state's light. This is P.O.C. and this is the threat that the people are waging while they're monitoring at the venues where they engage in doing that. That's elements 1, 2, and 3. It's 2:58 p.m. This is P.O.C. What you're looking at also, this is loitering in relevant position. They're monitoring, and you're looking at what is a shaded walkway. This is a cover. It's absolutely impossible to light activity that I just captured on the wall. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. This is economy in 2301 South Euclid Avenue. So I did just capture a video, and you're listening to the P.O.C. Like I just stated, it's 2:58 p.m. That's the owner. That's audible activity. Everything they're doing is monitoring. Are you done? Yeah. Oh, you need to come in? Sure. Go ahead.
TV good, right?
Huh?
TV good?
Oh, TV's good?
That one is look.
That's why I'm feeling.
AC is clean too.
Yeah. U.S.C.
I know.
That is the gate. The fence you see out here, that's the ceiling with the shadow of the gate on the wall. That's the state directed light. So it's light activity, all light activity. 2:59 p.m. You're also witnessing demonic. Who are you with? What company are you with?
Huh? What company?
What company?
You don't see my chair?
Next level?
Yeah.
Door and millwork? Okay. Are you working? Yeah.
Okay, it's not. Nunca mais uso, velho. From one side? Oh, to
Outside.
Everything okay?
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm saying everything okay? I'm saying everything okay? I should say.
What happened? No, actually, I was wondering, are you guys the one that have been drilling?
Drilling?
For the past 3 days?
No, I'm just training.
Oh, just start today? Oh, okay. The ceiling's on the ceiling. I'm sorry, shadows on the ceiling. This is audible activity and loitering in relevant position, an excuse to come in and engage with P.O.C. And I'm taking entries of that. Shadows are on the ceiling. P.O.C.
Termina aquí porque a ella le gusta su privacidad.
Thank you.
A ver, dale. No tienes power. You don't have power here. No power here. No power.
Is he working?
Yeah, but
So how much longer is this going to be?
Huh?
How much longer is this going to be?
It's gonna be 20 to 30 minutes. We're just gonna get clean. Clean is good, right?
Not really. It's working fine.
No, but,
A lot of other dirty
no,
stuff
but
in
if
there.
we keep the good.
Well, you know what is good? Quiet is good. The television working, that's
Hey,
good.
it's not working. Power. Don't work.
You took out the perfectly functioning cooler in order to spray it and wipe it and put it back while your light activity is on the ceiling in the room. And the fake sun's over the parking lot. While monitoring what I'm publishing about this same venue, they know exactly what I was publishing on the internet. About the cooler not working last year, my paper trail online shows when I was publishing this. And so this is P.O.C, and this is also pursuant to the knowledge of the exact thing that I'm publishing online.
Check the breaker.
Everybody throw that.
So as he walks back and forth, that's patrolling. His shadow moving across the ceiling inside of my room. Shadows across the east wall. And let me be clear, they would rather me focus on this than continue publishing the documentation, the evidence that occurred September 25th, 2020. I'm going to do both. That's amplification of traffic heard from Euclid. That's what the guys at the state's conduct is. You cannot hear traffic from Euclid Avenue or the 60 freeway inside of the depths of a hotel room. Or in the bathroom, or while I'm standing at the sink. This is P.O.C. She's just spraying a spray bottle, loitering in relevant position. That's audible activity and relevant positioning.
Check. Start. Observe.
Asking him.
Observe. Why is it not working? How is it not working? Okay.
Wow.
How is it?
Remember to get a bunch of bad breakers? For these rooms? We got 4 bad breakers.
Can you connect to your room?
It's 3:05 p.m.
Huh? Sorry, what?
Shadow on the east wall as this group soccer approaches. Shadows on the ceiling as they walk past. Saying hi is audible activity. They're not being friendly. They're monitoring. As I change functions on my phone, stalking the transmission. total activity, relevant positioning. The owners and these third-party actors with them are patrolling in front of the door while the state's in line and amplifying traffic. And she used that vacuum to stalk with activity as I went from the camera to review the images. That's changing activity on my phone. She used the vacuum at the same time as P.O.C. It's 3:08 p.m.
Oh, it's my cousin. The other one, yeah. Finish tomorrow.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Can you finish today?
You gonna finish?
Yeah.
You're gonna finish.
Oh, I thought you just said you're coming back again tomorrow.
No, because of five
Oh,
more
that
left.
one.
Five more
Okay,
left.
you guys are creating a substantial disturbance, so I'd rather you just do what you're going to do now so I can do what I'm going to do. Be about our business. It's 3:09 p.m.
Oh, ya le digo, ¿qué es?
रोने ना मैं मुका रोने.
¿Qué hubo de ello? पश्चिम वाले इनसे नहीं मार अंदर से और भाई
किसी को रोक नहीं.
अने है इसका
रोक क्या ना दो.
रोज आएगा
अंदर से.
मान के लो 10 चला
So make sure you remember everything like I've already stated. Not only is it the pattern of conduct that they're engaged in, it's their state of mind. So what they're knowledgeable of while they're engaging in the P.O.C. Because this is P.O.C. They know exactly what I published online. That's speaking to the threat and the intentional conduct. That it is 3:10 p.m. It is 3:11 p.m.
Yeah.
What? Do you have to have gloves?
This is monitoring. This is people of the state that are also fully aware of what I just published online, intentionally engaging in P.O.C. with the state, like third parties do. This is ongoing evidence of it. P.O.C. Through next level, that's what he said his company is. All activity involving position. In addition to the state's impossible light activity on the ceiling, that's appearing and disappearing, and the state's aiming light while the door is open on the ceiling as well, and as they're patrolling it, that's light activity as well. This is demonic activity, by the way. This is everything that I'm describing, and it's also criminal.
Go, thank you.
That is P.O.C. And that is the reappearance of the impossible light as the door is closed, more so of it, right? And their relevant position, this is how monitoring is occurring seamlessly. Impossible light. Not only is this criminal, understand this is the elements of monitoring, and this is the hallmark of directed light, this is also demonic activity. Absolutely impossible light activity. Now, there is no explanation for that light activity, nor this. But for the statement. You said what? Huh?
10 minutes more.
You said it was done? I don't need to slip. It's been like that. Why are you fixing it?
You didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know about the one that I did?
No.
How about this? Why don't you fix the shower that's always squeaking? Okay, you're gonna turn off the sweep? There's nothing wrong with the shower, but it's squeaking when I turn the shower off. No? Probably need a little WD-40 or something. No, I'm talking about the shower. I don't remember his name, but can you no. While you're in here, I guess you're gonna fix the smoke detector? Am I allowed to smoke in here? It's a smoke section, right? I mean, I know, but I just didn't know. There's no smoke detector. I figured I could. I was hoping as much as we'll make all my stuff stick, but I'm scared. I was gonna say, can you fix the shower? It's always squeaking when I turn it on.
Oh, it makes sense. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's a high-pitched squeak. If you can turn that off, too. Not the tub, the shower. Yeah.
It makes that noise.
No, it's a high-pitched squeaking. I have a long recording of it if you need to listen to it.
No, it's because there's nothing on water.
No, the water runs perfectly fine. The water runs perfectly fine, and it's in excellent condition. I got rid of that too. But it just so happens to start whistling every time I turn it on. It's so interesting that it didn't do it when you turned it on right now.
I know, but my room does it too.
Oh, okay. It did it in 2:30 as well.
It's done on water.
Oh, I know. That's supposed to be the explanation for that.
It is.
So anyway, you're saying you can't fix that?
No, it's a universal problem. It's a
Got it.
it's
Okay.
the whole hotel.
All right.
right?
All right, I open up the door again. Again, loitering relevant position of the guy fixing the smoke detector has been in that condition. This is a means of monitoring, and you're looking at the light activity. That's what you're looking at. It's actively disappearing in motion while they control and while they loiter. Okay? This is P.O.C. It is 3:18 p.m.
Servo mounted?
Let me tell you what demons do. They totally disregard and they
Oh,
have to
this one.
the fact that this environment exists. In addition to the fact that helicopters that fly around and
You buy
airplanes that
it?
swarm about, this is what they do.
Wait,
They act
wait,
like it's not occurring. This is why you
Yeah.
don't do that.
This is
PLC.
for the new
It's
one, huh?
3:19 p.m.
I have all gone to what you said and I want to go back.
That's amplification while light activity is on the east wall
4 people.
and on the ceiling. So, do you guys usually just bombard patrons, or do you give them notice in advance before you want to come inside of a room and do repair?
Usually, whenever it's something like that, we notice.
Well, actually, you didn't before I documented that last
I
year.
called, but you didn't answer.
Oh, of course you're going to say that. Right.
call.
You guys called actually, and
You have to put
a couple of times when you did call and I answered and nobody said anything, and then you said you called an
Yeah.
accident.
Erika,
Yeah.
put the phone back because that's why it's not ringing here.
Sure.
You have to put it back.
Okay. Okay.
That's why we call and you.
All right. So you're
It's only
saying
ringing, but you don't answer.
So you're saying you tried to call and give me notice, but it didn't ring because I had the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
Was that after you called for no reason?
Huh?
Was that after you called for no reason? Because that's why I took the phone off the hook. You're calling in the morning, but I was
You never
sleeping.
call, but somebody called
And
for
you
you
were calling
and
when
you
I was on my
transfer.
phone.
Somebody called and we
And I
transfer.
called you back, and she said, "Oh, she called on accident."
No, we didn't call him.
Yeah, that's when I took the phone off the hook. Well, the calls are coming from you. They only come from the front office.
No, we
Yeah.
transfer because of your.
I know.
Some one lady keep calling because you putting videos.
Right.
On YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know
What I
where-
do with my videos, don't go into that. We've been there, done that. I do what I want on YouTube. But I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know. But besides, like what I was saying about the phone, when you called on the phone from the front office, because that's the only way to get through the room, the lady called, I called her right back, and she said that she called on accident. And before that, in the morning, you called again.
No call.
Yes, it is. That's the front office that's either transferring a call to one of
Sometimes
the
people from other room they can call you.
Who's calling from another
I
room?
don't know.
Right. Okay, it's good to document third parties and their statements. Like I said, it's audible activity. Third parties lie out of their face. And that is also going to occur when you're dealing with demonic activity.
I can kind of get used to it.
I don't understand.
I know.
You put on coffee.
Right? The noise that you're hearing is coinciding with my taking pictures of them. They're stalking with activity. In addition to what you're hearing outside, the amplification of traffic, all of this is activity stalking with what I'm doing. And you see their shadows on the ceiling and on the east wall over the bed. Okay? This is lighting all in that direction. And I just took pictures of that. This is very unfortunate. This establishment is going out of business. They're going out of business. You don't engage in this sort of criminal activity with impunity. That's not going on. Patrolling past the room, light activity on the ceiling where he is loitering. This is repairing of the smoke detector that's been in disrepair. This is loitering in relevant position.
You have to put,
The same thing with loitering in relevant position, pulling out the cooler that was not in need of any repair. Like I documented when it was actually in disrepair last year, not interested in fixing it. While monitoring what I'm doing on the internet. Understand this, they maintain deliberate knowledge of what I'm doing while they engage in the criminal conduct. So this is supposed to be the guise under which they're maintaining presence, and there is no legitimate presence on behalf of the state. That's monitoring. It doesn't exist. And they are literally in the state's directed light. It does not get any more patently absurd than that. Yeah, can you spell prosecution?
I could prostitution? No, I cannot spell prostitution.
Prosecution. Yeah.
She's a lawyer, right?
Person.
No, I'm not a liar.
Lawyer.
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 Oh, you know what I am?
You know everything, that's right. You know all the laws.
That's amplification. We'll take a picture of the light activity while it's amplifying that activity. And that's supposed to be coming from Euclid Avenue or the 60 freeway. That's P.O.C. That's ridiculous. As ridiculous as the state's light activity, which is changing all around in this room, appearing and disappearing. That's audible activity while the state's directing light all inside of this room, monitoring. Walking past the room with light activity on the ceilings and on the walls while they're patrolling in the state's directed light, and loitering in my room in the state's directed light. Alright? And the state's moving light deeper and deeper inside of the room. Take a picture of that. No, it's on the opposite side of the bed, on the same east wall. His shadow appearing over there as well.
You want to write it? You want to write it?
And I'm gonna take a picture of it because it's now gone. Just like I showed latest video at Ono Hawaiian Barbecue, you saw that light at the ceiling. I mean, not even under the guise of a car driving by. The state was literally just aiming its light. That's what the state was doing right now as I captured it and it's gone. That's the state.
So there is a bed, huh?
Minions just stand around just monitoring, just having to disregard the criminal activities. They're listening to me narrate their demonic and criminal conduct. They have to. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? Oh, that you might not be prosecuted for. You better be careful about what you say. Well, what are you going to say?
Putting it wrong way, no? Hello?
Operation of a communication device? Now, I want to be clear, you're going to pay attention to that audible activity because what the state was doing was amplifying the sound of that inside of the room. That's what you heard that I documented. They're doing nothing but providing the guise under which the state is creating audible activity.
You can sleep.
Just like the state is doing, which is supposed to be under the guise of traffic on the 60 freeway, and it sounds like the freeway's in the room. That's the state.
Tomorrow.
Loitering in front of my room, creating light activity on the ceiling.
library?
Audible activity,
I know her.
loitering in the state's light.
No, she wanna know like
This is audible activity in the state's directed light. This is the third party while the state is flashing light all
You
over
know,
the wall.
I told him, yeah, he told
Let me be
me.
clear, this is a threat by the people.
My dad.
They're going to be
I
prosecuted for
told
this.
her, I told her like, hey, meet up. Hey.
This is intentional conduct, all of it. The state, let me take a picture of where the state was flashing light so you can see, because I already showed you what was the appearance of his shadow as it appears and disappears.
You just doing
And he is loitering in relevant position. He's just mumbling. This is a drunk mumbling, audible activity in the state's directed light. Okay? Yeah, I suggest you go before I get a picture of you. Go ahead. That's audible activity.
Thank you, Erika.
No, thank you. See
When
how demons operate. That's what demons do. And this is actually the revealing of what is no guise at all. Yeah. I call it as it is, actually. That's demonic. Absolutely out of hell.
you went to the mall to tell housekeeping to clean?
You said the mall? Oh, the mall. Well, bro, actually. But She has a, you have a drum? You have a drum?
Okay.
It is, let me be clear, it's 3:28 p.m. The state spanning light, blinking light across where this bed is on the east wall. So as I show it, the state's aiming light nearest the window on the wall and then the depths of the wall by that lamp where the telephone is. The state moving its light and flashing white light across on the side, on the opposite side of the bed, nearest the opposite mirror, where on the opposite side of the shower room, the state moving light over there. Okay, and I took a picture of that. That's where his additional shadow appeared as well. So this is a threat to your life while they're in here fixing the cooler. This is the claim. They represent the government, all right? This is the threat to your life while they want to come in and fix the smoke detector that's been in disrepair. This is the threat to your life while they want to come in and sweep, right? And everything about the environment is speaking to the presence of the state. And where you're aware of that, that's a direct threat. And they're aware of what you're documenting about it, that's an intentional threat as well. Hi, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I can sweep. Yeah. You guys had enough delay, so. No. If you don't mind, give me a couple seconds and I'll give you back your room. I'm just going to sweep the room.
No.
No? Why? You don't want to steal your room?
It's okay.
I'm just going to sweep. Thank you.
Oh, you need the broom?
No, I'm going to sweep. I'm going to close the door and sweep. And I'm going to give you back the room. Are you going somewhere?
No, it's the only one.
Yeah, I'm not going nowhere. You know where I'm at. This is all audible activity, by the way. Can I check the room? It's going to take me like 2 minutes. Thank you.
Gracias. You put it outside, okay?
Please. Or, yeah, I can give it to you. Well, just put it right there? Yeah, I'll just put it right there. That's fine. That was all audible activity, by the way. Acting like they have an issue with giving me the room. All of it is audible activity. I'm just speaking to. Don't be distracted by anything you're talking about like that. They're monitoring with the state and the light activity is showing that. And you're talking about what are psychopaths. That's describing what is demonic activity secularly. Those are psychopaths. Monitoring. Okay, completely acting like they don't see the light moving all around in this room like I just captured in pictures and in video. And their shadows all around the room like I just captured in video. That's demonic activity. While, by the way, they know exactly what I just published online and what I am publishing online about this venue and the ways in which they're going to be prosecuted along with the people of the state of California. They represent that same group. The people of the state monitoring while I'm at this venue, waging that threat, which also, you're going to want to be clear, this is the feudalist, the defeatist conduct of the state that has no way of avoiding that which has already been captured as engaged in. Right? The direct evidence against it. And so it engages in conduct like this, which is more documentation, because it would rather me gather this than to focus on uploading and posting and publishing. Well, it's already published, but as I'm putting it all in context, getting it all nice and pretty and in order, the state does not like that. Right? So this is what this is about. Real-time knowledge about and exactly what I just published online about this venue, about the people of the state. This is why they're going to be deported. All right? This is a matter of justice. You do not get to engage in the criminal activity that I just documented. That's the government that just came inside of this room and is spanning light inside of this room right now as I speak, monitoring to the sound of my voice, loitering about in position around this room, engaged in ongoing criminally threatening and harassing conducts on a ceaseless basis, aware of what I documented. They're going to be deported, and that is a matter of what is also federal prison while they engaged in kidnapping. This is the people of the state, right? And this is ongoing documentation speaking to that knowledge and ongoing criminal activity. And that's all that they accomplish right now, providing all of that evidence in the ridiculous light activity. But that's what demonic activity is. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's demonic. That peculiarity with light, that's demonic. And it's criminal. So let me tell you what the owners, third-party owners, just showed you that he doesn't want to stay in this country anymore. Because he knows exactly what I just published online. And the fact that he'd engaged in it is no suggestion that he doesn't. The state is monitoring with the people, and he just demonstrated again that he does not want to stay in this country at all. And when I get done with him, he won't be. The economy is going out of business. And he's not worthy of remaining, him or his wife, whatever she is. Whatever they are, they need to go back to where they came from, where perhaps they monitor and it's not a secret in their country. exactly what he just provided, more evidence against himself and the people, because all of them are going down for that same corporate crime that they just engaged in and are engaged in right now. They're still engaged in it right now. So as I walk in and out the room, I'm switching my own room because it is a threat, and I really don't want to be surrounded by that satanic conduct anymore. As I'm walking in and out of the room, again, as I've already shown the light activity, you got a group stalker loitering in relevant position on the walkway. And you also have my shadow that's moving across the east wall. I've already documented this. I just want to narrate what the state is doing right now. All right, that's P.O.C. It is currently 3:34 p.m. And if you have not yet understood, which I know that I have made it abundantly clear, but when I say no zero tolerance, and when I'm advocating for that profuse and highly intense and very undesirable federal prosecution, and even being identified as a group stalker. The third-party group stalkers at Economy Inn, the facilitating venue, the third-party manager owners themselves, they're the ones engaging in the criminal activity. They are engaging in facilitation of that criminal activity. They are doing so with knowledge of my documenting. This is the readily apparent desire and determination to engage in the criminal conduct with knowledge of that documentation. This is that which federal policy is designed to disincentivize. And how do you disincentivize it? By intensely and a very highly intense federal prosecution and exposure, being a sex offender on a federal level, which legislation has never addressed it, and that is what they are, okay? And this is also speaking to that which is a matter of being deported when you are identified as a group stalker and you are not of origin from this country. That is the utmost demonstration, the most exquisite picture that you can provide as to your unworthiness to remain in this country. And he literally just provided more evidence, him and all of his family, as to why they are very much worthy of being deported upon federal prosecution, and they are going to be prosecuted. Okay, they are group stalkers, they're criminals, and this is demonic activity that they are engaging in, and it is literally out in the open. And so I'm literally describing what is the ridiculous environment that they are here under the guise of fixing the room. Nothing wrong with the cooler, but understand, even if there was something wrong with the cooler, and I've documented that, even if there was something wrong with the cooler, it does not stop the fact that they're monitoring. And I also want to be clear, if there is actually something wrong with anything around here, the state is maintaining control over the environment. There are no malfunctions. They maintain absolute control over the environment. The state is not taking any chances. You've seen the hovering, paranoid level, obsessive stalker that the state of California is. They are not engaged in any absence of control over everything in the environment, okay? Literally engaging in activity, literally engaged in manufacturing the sound of activity while group stalkers surround. And he just engaged in real-time knowledge of what I'm doing on the internet. This is not a question. The state is monitoring. The state is monitoring with the people. So I'm going to provide you context. He comes in and invades this space, aware of what I am publishing online about him and his venue, where he's facilitating an unprecedented crime with the government on behalf of the government. Literally, he is the face of the government at this venue. And facilitating that criminal activity on a massive level, and then engages in invading this space, which is and under the law, what you're going to look at is what that conduct is communicating, what it is accomplishing, and it's criminal. You are threatening that American citizen that you're monitoring. You are doing so with ongoing knowledge of not only what they are doing while the door is closed. You're doing it as I am on the internet. And not only that, everything about the environment is also waging that threat. There is literally there's no utterance of any whisper of a prayer for this third party. And this is attributed to the people. I am isolating P.O.C. to this venue because this is where I am at. The people are one group acting with the state, and they can all think this is what happens when you engage in criminal activity together. It's not funny, but I am so serious when I'm speaking about what that federal legislation and what that federal prosecution is going to look like. And this is it. And this is a prime example of how third parties engage in it. And let me also be clear. Let me give you context. This is a prime example of what is demonic activity. All right, that's what it is. You're looking at what is the context, what is occurring all around, that which is a matter of right straight out of the pits of hell, and it is speaking to that which is also the communication of hostility, but doing it in a manner that is palatable. All right, doing it in a manner that's supposed to be assumed as acceptable in everyday life. Okay, but you are piercing through that veil, literally ripping that apart, because you're looking at what is occurring under facts of stalking, group stalking by the government, which is already established. Okay, so everything is occurring under that factual pretext. And he literally engaged in providing ongoing documentation as to why he is worthy in every respect of not only federal prosecution, being identified as a sex offending psychopath group stalker that he is, maintaining presence while the state is engaging in all manner of a light show. This is this third party communicating a threat by doing so. All right, loitering in relevant position while the state creates that show all around inside of this room, aware of what I just published minutes before he comes and knocks on my door and just feels like pulling out the swamp cooler out of the wall. All right, just to clean it. This property is not any 4-star. It's not of that. It's not up to par at all. The smoke detector has been ripped out of the ceiling. Okay, this was nothing but criminal activity that they wanted to engage in while they know what I'm in the midst of publishing and getting in order on my podcast and on my website. Okay, it's 3:40 p.m. and that's the context of what you just heard. Yes, it's P.O.C. I broke that down. The elements are present. The hallmarks are present. But I also want to go into what is the demonic mindset. All right, and what is speaking to that level of punishment that is absolutely worthy, and that which is also reasonably construed by the conduct. It's not just my opinion. You're talking about that which is reasonably construed based on the criminal activity, and it is criminal. It is occurring while the state is engaged in group stalking and monitoring, operating that system, and that is not questioned. It is currently it's Saturday, May 29, 2021. It's 3:40 p.m. and this is third-party facilitating venue, Economy Inn, located at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, engaging in criminal monitoring by loitering in relevant position under all of the same impossible light. I captured pictures and video of that, and you're hearing what is supposed to be traffic coming all the way from. You can only assume the state is intending to suggest that it's coming from Euclid Avenue and maybe the 60 freeway. That's impossible audible activity. That's amplification. All right. While they are also doing so pursuant to what I'm doing on my phone. So literally as I'm going from different apps, because I'm holding my phone and I'm taking pictures and I'm taking video. And as I switch from different apps to do so, they are using their presence and what they're doing on the outside to stalk with activity. It is demonic activity. All right. You are not distracted by what they look like, by what they appear to be engaging in, the activity that they engage in, the same things that they're doing right now inside of this room. This is what they are doing while outside of this room, and the state is amplifying that sound inside of this room while you've got shadows moving on the walls and on the ceilings, while you have what is which I captured another example of that drilling. They've been doing that for days and using it to stalk with activity while I'm on the internet as well, while I'm sleeping. This is engaging in the P.O.C. for purposes of sexual violence, for purposes of harassment, for purposes of threatening, in addition to that P.O.C. which is designed to monitor with communication devices. Okay, again, it's 3:42 p.m. and that is P.O.C. All right, it is still Saturday, May 29th. It's 2021. It's currently 8:36 p.m. And I want to make sure I specifically speak to the criminal activity that I have already established is ongoing. It's ceaseless. And as you can, well, not that you have to imagine, I have literally established it in my documentation, but a stalker by definition does not stop. And so if you can fathom that which I have captured in my documentation, that is the determination that is personified by the entity. So it continues to stalk literally as it is monitoring the evidence that it's reviewing the evidence against itself as it's monitoring my documentation that I'm publishing. I want to speak to the state sounding its sirens at 8:34 p.m. This is the stalking with audible activity in the form of the state sirens sounding. The state engages in ongoing, just like I captured on documentation earlier today, that was nothing but an ongoing episode of audible activity. The state is ceaselessly creating audible activity. You heard with the door open what was loud traffic, and again, prosecution, even on September 25th, 2020, as I was standing at the top of the stairs at the what would be the east side of the property at Economy Inn, and you heard very loud and clearly as I was documenting the pattern of conduct, the very loud traffic, it is remaining at that loud volume as though the cars are as though I'm standing right there at the street of Euclid. The state is engaging in that same exact conduct. That's what you heard on the podcast while they were in relevant position monitoring as well. The state using that method. I'm just speaking to the method because the state is always creating audible activity as it's a stalker and it is monitoring. I want to speak specifically to what is that the use of state sirens, because that's indicative of the state stalking directly. So they want to sound sirens. That is speaking to the Ontario Police Department. That's speaking to AMR Ambulance, American Medical Response Ambulance. That is speaking to the Ontario Fire Department. Sounding their sirens with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my communication device. That signature brevity of sirens occurring with simultaneity to what I'm doing online. So not only is the entity group stalking, engaging in that criminal misuse of their emergency vehicles to create audible activity and creating the audible activity to criminally monitor and criminally monitoring in concert with the people of the state of California via communication devices. So this is speaking to 18 U.S.C. section 2261A. All right. And this elaborate light activity that I captured inside of the room while Economy N engaged in providing more documentation against not only itself, but the people of the state of California, because that's what they represent. And at prosecution, as I have specifically identified actors within that one group monitoring vicariously on behalf of that government that was aiming that light, moving all of that light, communicating an ongoing threat while they're monitoring my documentation on an ongoing real-time basis. And so the state was also sounding its sirens earlier, ongoing while I'm on the venue of the internet. And I want to speak to what is the ongoing, like directed light is always present inside of my room. And so right now what I'm going to capture is the presence of impossible light, which is on the west wall. This is absolutely impossible to exist. This is the state that is aiming what is vibrant white light. What is where the door is, as I've shown during the day. Well, when you can see during the day. I'll even turn on the light actually so you can see what I'm taking. I just took a picture of it so you can see it in the dark. This line of white light on the west wall. This is directed light. And you can see it. It is on the west wall where the door would open. So it would be behind the door. The state is aiming light in this direction onto the wall. This is the hallmark. And while I am capturing this, the state is also aware of what I'm doing online. And so the other harassing aspect that the people are engaged in, maintaining a group stalking presence while the state is creating ongoing earthquake-like activity, ongoing rumbling of the room, boom, boom, boom. Every time I engage in activity, especially that which it is hostile to, as I'm opening up my podcast, and that's what I wanted to document at 8:37 a.m. as I begin reviewing what is the next one to be published, December 7th, 2020, where the state was group stalking at Baymont End, third-party facilitating venue, and the state's fake sun was right over me at that venue. And then I'm going to publish what is December 8th, where the state's fake sun was directly over me at the Ontario Museum of History and Art, as I'm capturing the people acting via a group stalker on Emporia, engaging in the demonic pacing back and forth using a vehicle as I pull out my camera and document what is criminal activity under the state's fake sun, mutually exclusive to being directly over me as I'm at Baymont Inn. All right. So the state is aware of what I'm doing on the internet. And as I open up the podcast, boom, shaking of the walls, shaking of the bed. That is also, not only is that monitoring, that's sensational activity. It's occurring with simultaneity to what I'm doing on the internet. The state is aiming this light, which I captured right now. And the state is always aiming light. I'm just giving you an example of what is present. This impossible light activity is present in my room while the state is creating ongoing sensational activity. Understand, the people of the state of California are going to suffer for that. And it's nothing. They're not innocent. They deserve it. This is speaking to that prosecution, though. You don't engage in, and you shall not engage in threatening an American citizen in this way. You certainly will not do it with impunity like Economy in the people of the state of California engaged in today, as I documented again. This is all going toward that policy, which is going to very much disincentivize any other entity to engage in it. Believe that. So with regard to what I'm documenting, this is the presence of impossible light activity in the state, aiming this light inside of my room. This is not occurring from any lights on the property. Okay. The lights on the walkway, understand this is in the exact same positions where the state is aiming impossible light all day long. All right. You have seen the light show. It is not different at nighttime. That's impossible light, pursuant to the ongoing pattern also that I've documented at every other venue where I've been. And this is also occurring while the state is using sirens to stalk with audible activity to monitor, while it's stalking in relevant position directly and vicariously, and while these group stalkers understand this is demonic activity that I am also revealing and speaking to, while they are criminally monitoring. This is a sex offender, all right? This is a sex offender that is maintaining an obsessive level of concern with what I'm doing, not only physically, but also on the venue of the internet, concerned with my entire being, everything about Erica Lorraine Spencer, all right? This is why you hear what is supposed to be the sound of cars. That's not actually the sound of cars. That's the state playing the tape of a sound of cars. You cannot, and this is not to be a mystery at federal prosecution, where the actual sun is, as opposed to where the state is placing it, is not going to remain a mystery at federal prosecution. The actual behavior of light and what is occurring at every venue where I have it captured, and what the state is doing with its impossible light activity, including while I'm walking outside on the sidewalk, that is not going to remain a mystery. The actual sound that you are going to experience while you're inside of every private space that I have been is not going to remain a mystery. This is that which the people of the state of California are going to suffer for, including those criminal acts of obstruction of justice, criminal defamation, kidnapping with the intent to obstruct justice. This is what the people of the state of California are engaged in. And this is speaking to what is a matter of justice as a group stalker. And the people of the state have been engaged in group stalking, holding hands with the government the entire time, facilitating kidnapping, facilitating sexual violence, fully engaged in that pattern of conduct to that predatory end, that's perverted group conduct that they are engaged in, exceeding just mere monitoring on a communication devices. That's a sex offender, okay? That's a pervert that's engaging in that which is exceeding that criminal purpose under 18 U.S.C. section 2261A. That's a sex offender. All right. And this is what the people are engaged in together. And every single last one engaging in that criminal system is going to be prosecuted for that, including kidnapping, including the fact that they are sex offenders, including the fact that they are ceaselessly harassing and threatening, because that's the legal relevance of all the conduct that they are continuously engaged in, while the state generously provides ongoing documentation to that end, and in no way detracting from or stopping the ongoing publishing of the documentation that already exists and the publishing of documentation that I continue to capture. But that is what I'm speaking to when you're talking about the criminal conduct. And I'm providing what is context. Let me give you something else. This is the nature of that demonic activity, all right? It is a psychopath. When I describe a psychopath, that's exactly what I mean. Aware of the fact that it is facing prosecution. Let me be clear, there is no mistake. The entity that is in operation is very much aware. You're talking about a defeatist, a level of futility, a determined effort to continue that which it knows is already prosecuted, it's already exposed, and that end is inevitable, and that end is going to be prosecution, and every single minion is going to pay for what the entity is engaged in, because all of the minions are engaged in it together. So this is a matter of being able to rip off the veil and show what is not only demonic activity in the natural operating in the state of California, but a criminal system in operation in the state of California, as the government is acting vicariously, engaged in a ceaseless communication of a threat, engaged in an ongoing perpetual sex offense, engaging in an unprecedented level of sexual perversion and criminal harassment and threatening conduct while monitoring an American citizen, obsessed with what that American citizen is doing for no legitimate purpose whatsoever. That's what each and every third-party group stalker is going to be prosecuted for, because that's what they're doing. You are participating in that system, you are going to be prosecuted for your criminal engagement in that system. And that is irrespective of your identity. That is irrespective of the particular day that you were documented. Your criminal participation doesn't stop at that moment when I got your license plate. You engage in the state's criminal act, and that's an ongoing criminal act, and it's an egregious level of a sex offense. All right, so that's the prosecution. It is 8:47 p.m., and that's P.O.C. The state engaging in ongoing threatening conduct, because that's what this is. This is ongoing monitoring. All right. So with simultaneity to what I'm doing in the room, not only physically, but on the internet, the state shaking the room, booming and banging and slamming while I'm on what the entity knows that I'm on, especially my podcast and on my website, while it's actively monitoring. But I want to speak to what's the legal relevance, what is reasonably construed from that criminal activity of monitoring. It is also the communication of a threat, which you're going to be prosecuted for. It's also ongoing harassment of a federal level on behalf of a government. That's the government that's threatening and harassing you while while it's stalking and monitoring you and sexually violating you, all right, they're going to be prosecuted for that, for being the mask behind which the government is acting, all right, for being the hands and feet of that demonic and criminal activity. That's what the people of the state of California shall be prosecuted for. It is 8:48 p.m. and that is P.O.C. at third-party facilitating venue Economy Inn, located at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. I also want to document, let me be clear, Anchor, the podcast that I'm using that is hosting my publishing this on this platform. This is Spotify. Anchor is designed by Spotify. And I want to be clear, Spotify itself, the fact that I captured what was 11 hours and 57 minutes as I documented prior to today, that was an unilateral act on the part of this platform, Spotify, to stop publishing that which I am publishing. So this is Spotify not publishing my documentation. This is not a matter of any malfunction, contrary to what Breaker has demonstrated in an email that they're going to quote unquote check on it and invest. There's nothing to investigate. It's internet. What I publish is going on the RSS feed. You're either letting that information flow, okay, because what I publish, it's technology, and that's the flip side of the criminal activity that they use to monitor an American citizen. The flip side of it is that as I am using that technology, it is their interference with it that is the reason why my episode is not being updated. And I also want to speak to the fact that I'm on the this is Spotify's app, okay? So this is Spotify itself not publishing my documentation, and that is directly implicating Spotify itself. And not so much of a question of fact, but nonetheless documented. That is requiring the fact that you're not abiding by that RSS feed that I'm updating as I'm publishing my episodes. And I also want to speak to what is the outright removal of an entire episode, the 16 plus hours. To be specific, the 16 hours and 7 minutes of documentation, the removal of my property, of my evidence. They're going to be prosecuted for that. That is absolutely unlawful conduct. And this is occurring on this platform, speaking to the podcasts. That's the very conduct that third parties and any state actor are going to be prosecuted for. That is the very threat that you are under federal policy shall in no way, you're not going to want to do that, and you're not going to be able to do that. And that was the outright removal, and that's what I'm documenting. The removal of the episode 1, that is particular to Economy Inn at 2301. This is episode 1 for the 16 hours and 7 minutes. If you can see the RSS feed showing the updated episodes even up to today, thus far at September 25th, 2020, and yesterday, the episodes that I added on to my podcast. But since removing, okay, so as I continue updating episode number 1 of that which is occurring at Economy Inn, up to 16 hours and 7 minutes. Spotify kept it at 11 hours and 57 minutes. While I republish the podcast, so it's moving in its order as I publish it or I unpublish it. It moves back up to the top because you will have unpublished it and then it's published, and so that is going to be your newest episode. So this is being updated, but they're not permitting the full totality of that documentation, keeping it at 11 hours and 57 minutes. And I want to document as of yesterday, Friday, May 28, 2020, while it was maintaining that position in the order in which I'm publishing. So as I republished after unpublishing it, and adding on episode 2 for Economy Inn, the episode that appeared, still limited, not in its totality, that's federal charges, okay? This is 11 hours and 57 minutes, and Spotify engaging in this unilateral conduct outside of what is actually being published by my RSS feed. All right, and the RSS feed is also gathering the episodes that I'm publishing continuously on a day-to-day basis, but not updating that particular episode. And I want to be clear, as of yesterday, the absolute removal of that episode. And that is a no-no. You are not going to engage in that at all. All right. And so this is informing policy, and this is how third parties conduct themselves. And that is also demonstrating criminal cooperation, whether they want to claim they're acting. It doesn't matter what you claim. It's the facilitating impact. It's the facilitation of that state's pattern of conduct. And that is the state's pattern of conduct to conceal. So you are helping the government, whether you want to claim that you are or whether you're claiming you're doing it knowingly. It really doesn't matter what a third party claims. That's what I'm stating. And there is no argument in relevant position, as I've stated, but I'm talking about the venue of the internet. Spotify engaged in clear facilitation and actually the impermissible threat of the outright removal of documentation, and also in any way removing any documentation, a portion of it, hours of it, not even fully uploaded. That is also pursuant to that which the entity shall be prosecuted for, and you are the entity when you're engaged in facilitation. This is how a government monitors, and so you are cutting off all the ways in which the government is able to engage in its criminal pattern of conduct. The government does it through the very people of the state. That's how the government does it, okay? And so you're speaking to what is the identification of a third party by the conduct, the facilitating conduct, which is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence whatsoever. There should actually be a disinterest in anything that I'm documenting. I'm talking about that which is would what? If it's I'm not talking about anything that should be catching the attention, but they're engaging in not only on the websites, the third-party websites with my videos and whatnot, targeting my conduct there, which shouldn't be of any of your concern. There's a reason why my material is being targeted, and that is a method of targeting. Okay, and so there's a reason why. First of all, because it's that which the entity seeks to conceal, and it is the absence of coincidence where the government, and this is the bottom line. It is the absence of coincidence where the government is monitoring with communication devices. All right, where federal group stalking and monitoring, where that pattern of conduct is underway, there is no coincidence there, and moreover, the federal policy shall be that there is no argument for any such coincidence. You're going to be prosecuted for any facilitating conduct, period. And so I just want to document that Spotify, which is the very platform that my podcast is created on. Okay, so I'm making my episodes, and Spotify is just clearly just outright not publishing it. Okay, that is a no-no. That is absolutely to be addressed at prosecution, and that is a third party. That is third party conduct. That is classic P.O.C. This is on the venue of the internet, okay? So I want to speak to that, and it is currently 8:55 p.m. The state engaged in, like I stated, ongoing sensational activity, rumbling and booming and banging and slamming, while these minions are maintaining presence and engaging in what is also that demonic hostility, because that's what it is. It's demonic hostility communicated through that criminal pattern of conduct, okay? While it is hostile to what it knows that I'm documenting as it's monitoring, what I'm doing on the internet, what I'm doing on my phone, and that is the P.O.C.